Hi folks, how you doing? It's James, JT at the Movies, and I'm back for my July DVD, Blu-ray and 4K update for you. It's more of an update, not so much a haul this time. There's not as much as I would normally pick up, but I do think I've got some really good titles in here to show you. I'm looking forward to showing you them. Again, apologies that this video's a little bit delayed. Normally you'd see this the first sort of couple of days of the new month for the month previous, but as I'm sure most of you know, I had a little holiday, and so my output's just been delayed a little bit. But I'm shooting a few videos today. I've got this one. I've got a package update from 101 Bronson. You might be able to see just there above me that I've actually got a projector in the movie room now, and so I've got a setup there to show you. It's a bit of a sort of a jerry-rigged setup at the moment. Everything's all sort of cobbled together, but I wanted to obviously take advantage of a really good deal on a sort of a mini HD projector that I saw. So anyway, there's a video coming on that as well. But let's dive into what you're here for today, which is everything that I picked up in the month of July 2021. So, the first thing I'm going to show you, I'm going to do this out of order, and it's purely because I only got one 4K in the month of July, and so it seemed kind of pointless building up to just showing you one title at the end. So I'll show you it first and get that out of the way. The 4K that I picked up was the 4K release of Space Jam. This looked absolutely fantastic on the 4K TV. Me and Laura watched it. We've still to go and see Space Jam 2. We were going to go and see it in Devon, but opted to go and see Suicide Squad instead, which I think is probably the more sensible option, because I don't think that Space Jam's been doing too well in the old critics department. But then again, I'll reserve judgment until I've seen it. I loved the first one, so I'm really hoping that the second one can capture at least some of that sort of glory. Let's dive into some DVDs, shall we, and have a nosy and see what we've got. So the first one I picked up right at the end of July, and it's got Maria Bello and Sean Bean in it, and it is The Dark. So I've not seen that film before. It's something that I'm basically looking forward to checking out. The premise and the cast were basically what sold me on it. It was in a local charity shop, even though it's got a CEX sticker on it. Somebody obviously bought it from there and then donated it, and it was 50p in the Oxfam down the road from me. And I like to go in and have a look because they've quite an extensive media selection. It's one of these like furniture warehouse places where people donate their old settees and, you know, side tables and things like that, but they've boxes upon boxes and shelves of movies, DVDs and Blu-rays. And the majority of it is things that you always come across. I mean, there must be about 1,000 copies of The Matrix and Quantum of Solace there, but in and amongst that you generally tend to find the odd little thing that's like, oh yeah, I'll just pick that up. Speaking of something that sort of piqued my interest, I've seen a lot of YouTubers talking about this over the course of this year, and I think there's been either a reboot or a sequel, because I really know nothing about this franchise. But when I saw that Neve Campbell was in the original, I thought, well, I've got to pick this up, and that is The Craft. The next one, again, it's a TV series, a mini-series from the BBC that's being talked about quite a lot in our YouTube community as well. And I've listened to a couple of podcasts where this has been talked about, and I found this to be really just gripping and just a real riveting watch, and hooked every second of it. I'm not normally a TV series kind of guy, to be right honest, and I put this on one Saturday morning while Laura was out, and only intended on watching the first episode, and ended up sitting there for 3.5 hours and binging the full thing. And that is Sean Bean and Stephen Graham in BBC's Time. Really, really worth picking this up if you come across it. So as far as I can tell, there isn't a Blu-ray of it, just the DVD, but the DVD was 14 quid, so I figured, well, I'm obviously still a DVD collector, why not? This one I've not seen since I was a kid, and I thought, well, I've got to watch this again. And I saw it in the reduced Disney section, and that is Basil the Great Mouse Detective. I had a great time with this when I was a young lad. I probably haven't seen that in 20 years or more, and really just wanted to revisit that. So I'm looking forward to watching that soon. This next one I've heard a lot about, but I've never actually sat down and watched, and that is Barbershop. I've got that in Poundland. The next one is another one to add to the Nicolas Cage collection. I was convinced that I had this. I come across this title quite regularly out in the wild, as it were, but was convinced that I already had it, and then when I actually looked at the collection, I don't. So I picked up Wind Talkers. Yep, Wind Talkers. I was thinking, have I read that wrong? Is it Wind Take? No, it's Wind Talkers. I'll leave that in for you folks, as Luke Ryan would say. The next one was another title released in anticipation of Space Jam, and again it's another one from my childhood that I loved, and until this release had only ever had a US release in terms of physical media, and I don't know, I don't mind streaming, but I don't really like doing the whole pay to stream something. Like I wasn't going to rent it, but you know, for a $5 I was happy to pick up Tweety's High Flying Adventure. So I'm looking forward to rewatching this and having a bit of fun with it. The next one that I picked up seems really quite timely and quite apt at the moment, and that is Contagion. And this was another one that I thought that I had in the collection, and I don't know what I was confusing it with, because I've been through all the drawers behind, and it's not in the C section up there, and it's not in the Blu-ray, so I've definitely not got this film, so I don't know where I dreamt up that I got it, probably because I've seen it regularly, and you know, I think it's one of those that always appears in supermarkets and Poundland, and you know, it's just a title that you come across regularly sort of thing, so I'd just convinced myself that I'd seen it. The next one that I picked up, and these really are in no order, we're going from kids films to horror films to dramas to thrillers to all sorts. The next one is the director's cut of the remake from Zack Snyder of Dawn of the Dead. So I hadn't actually realised that I didn't already have this one. I thought I had a set with both in, but the set that I've got is just the theatrical version. And I was actually watching the channel Hack the Movies, which is obviously an American YouTube channel where they do sort of like podcast style reviews of movies from the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, the sort of stuff that we all grew up with really. And they were talking about this film, but in particular the director's cut, and there were bits in it where I was like, I don't remember that being in the film. So yeah, so that was an HMV pickup for me. Was that I regularly come across the theatrical cut, but don't see the director's one regularly in the wild. I know you could just click and get it on Amazon or HMV.com or whatever, but there is a little bit of something in the thriller finding stuff out in the wild, as it were. I can't remember which YouTuber is it that says that. I can't remember it. I know I've nicked the phrase off somebody. Somebody else will let me know. Anyway, just a couple of 3 more DVDs, and then we shall talk about some HD, shall we, some Blu-rays. So the next one that I picked up is Homeward Bound: The Incredible Journey. This is one of my favourite Disney films that's not from the sort of like the classic cartoons, you know, your Aladdin, Snow White's, Lion King, that sort of thing. It's one of my favourite Disney films from outside of that. I mentioned it actually when we were talking about Disney films on Playtendo Guy Pete's stream, when I was very, very lucky to be able to be a guest on that the other night. I was on with him and James Millership, and there was Andy, and then there was John on there as well, and the 5 of us had at least I thought, a really, really great chat, and all had something different, all had like a different sort of, you know, area of, don't want to say expertise because that sounds really big-headed, but you know, we all had our passions, different passions to bring together, and I just found it a really enjoyable conversation. It was great to listen to the lads and what they had to say about things, and you know, hopefully I added some value to that as well. But that was one of the films that we talked about on there as well, and that was why it was sort of fresh in my mind, is because I'd sort of picked it up recently and been like, yeah, I love that film. The last one that I picked up was a sort of where you're in HMV and it's $2.99 whenever you're buying anything else, and it is Tom Hiddleston and other people as well in High Rise. So I'm really looking forward to watching this. I think that this, and then was it The Night Manager that he did, were the things where people were like, oh, if Daniel Craig does go after No Time to Die, which he is going after No Time to Die, Hiddleston would make a good next Bond. So I've never been on that train, if you like. I don't think Tom Hiddleston would make a good Bond, but I'll watch that. You never know, I might change my mind. So, bridging quite nicely into from DVD to Blu-ray now, I'm going to show you one last DVD. So this is The Phantom, and this is a French import DVD of the sci-fi sort of mini-series TV movie, if you like, that's a loose sequel to the story of The Phantom, the Billy Zane sort of adaptation. And basically the comics and the character in the comics is obviously Kit Walker. He's I think the 21st or the 22nd Phantom, and the idea is that it's a superhero mantle passed from father to son to, you know, father to son sort of thing over the course of, you know, 20 odd generations or whatever, and so the character gets given the sort of the moniker the Ghost That Walks, and he operates from like a Southeast Asian island, but he's got his own sort of like secret agents sort of syndicate type thing going on, and then there's the Singh Brotherhood, which is sort of like the Spectre or the Injustice League or whatever of that particular universe that's always trying to bring them down, and it's just real comic booky stuff. But yeah, I had a great time with this. It definitely feels like a made-for-TV movie, but there's nothing wrong with that. A good made-for-TV movie can be a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed how they updated the character and brought it into the modern world. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the original comics, what I've read of them, and I do actually really enjoy the Billy Zane movie when that came out on Premium Collection at Christmas. My sister bought me that, and I had a great time revisiting that in HD. But I always really liked the sort of the hero, elderly hero, passing the torch to younger, slightly not miscast, but misfitting generation, sort of like the Mask of Zorro, or for anybody who might have seen the DC animated project Batman Beyond and the the shows and the movies that they did with that sort of thing. I've always loved that sort of story. But anyway, obviously, I wanted to try and get this in. Obviously, I'm primarily a DVD collector, aren't I? But in this particular instance, I did want to get this on Blu-ray, and I did buy it on Blu-ray. Again, another French import. But this is second-hand, whereas the DVD I've just shown you was brand new. And the case is obviously immaculate. The disc looks immaculate. But will this play? Will it buggery? Absolutely not. Went in, it loads the menu, you press play, and then it just basically sort of gives a message sort of implying that the disc's corrupted and not happening today sort of thing. So I was very disappointed and looked into returning it, and it was going to be more hassle than it was worth to try and post it back to France. So in the end I ended up taking a £10 loss on that, and then buying the DVD again from Amazon France. The DVD played perfectly, and to be fair, the quality was absolutely fine. Watched it on the TV behind there, and it absolutely not a problem at all. So yes, it's a shame, is this, and I really do like the purple Blu-ray case, but I'm obviously just going to bin the art and the disc and then keep the nice case for something. Now is about where we're at. So that was all the DVDs and the first Blu-ray to show you. If you can remember all the way back to my June update, you might have seen that I picked up Jurassic Park 1 and 3 in Poundland and CEX respectively, as I've been sort of wanting to basically upgrade my DVDs of Jurassic Park to the Blu-rays. And then in HMV for $3.99 I was able to get my favourite Jurassic Park movie on Blu-ray, and that is The Lost World, and I absolutely love it because it comes with this really nice slip. So you've obviously got the Blu-ray in there as well, but this has got this really nice sort of matte slip on it, and yeah, really chuffed with that. I picked this one up again after basically it's buzzing the Oscars. I've yet to sit down and watch it, as you'll see in a moment, but I'm really looking forward to it. Friends of mine that are also sort of film buffs have said that I'll have a really good time with this, and I've just, as it with most titles, really just yet to get round to watching it. But this is Judas and the Black Messiah, so I'm really looking forward to watching this soon. I'm eating my words with this next one. I said that I wasn't too bothered for picking it up, but then when I saw that it had been reduced to $6.99, I thought, well, I'll complete the collection, and that is Toy Story 4. This next one was really a bit of an upgrade because, well, I enjoy it. It's a real guilty pleasure horror movie for me, is this one. It is crap. It's absolutely, when you look at it technically, it's just crap. But I have such a good time with The Nun that I basically thought, well, do you know what? I'm upgrading it, because one of the few DVDs that I've played in this room where on the bigger tellies it just looks really washed out and really grainy and just like, really like it's blowing the image up too much sort of thing, and it's struggling with it. And it's the only DVD so far that I've come across where I've sort of watched it and been like, God, that's awful. So I decided, because it's one of those films that both me and Laura really enjoy and probably gets watched maybe once or twice a year as just a bit of easy watching horror, if that makes sense, that we would basically upgrade it. And for a decent price where it was reduced, I thought, well, I'm going to do that. Forgive me, I can't remember who suggested this in the comments of one of my other videos, but I talked about my love for The Abyss, which is something that I regularly talk about on this channel. I love James Cameron's The Abyss. Where is the Blu-ray or the 4K, mate? We're still waiting. Nobody cares about Avatars 2 through 47. We want True Lies on Blu-ray. We want The Abyss on Blu-ray. Sort it out. But on the back of that, obviously doing a bit of reading and sort of, you know, getting into the whole making of, I realised that whilst the delays and shooting and editing and all that sort of stuff were going on, the other studios, as they always do, decided to sort of cash in on the whole underwater monster thing. And I picked up Leviathan on one of the previous updates, and somebody very kindly left me a comment down below saying if you liked that, you should pick up Deep Star 6 because it came out at the same time and it's got a similar sort of carry on. It was one of the cash grab movies made at the time to sort of cash in and capitalise on the Abyss. So I picked this up. So I believe that this is a Spanish import, if I'm not mistaken. Now I'm not too sure. I can't tell whether or not this is an official release or whether it's one of those sort of grey releases like what they did with True Lies that we picked up. It feels a little flimsy, I'm not going to lie. But then the disc, let's have a look. Does it look burnt? I've not actually looked at the disc yet. So the disc isn't burnt, the disc looks pressed. And you know, it's labelled up properly. So I could be doing a complete disservice to this there. But anyway, nice to have a HD copy of Deep Star 6 in there. It is region free as well if anybody's curious about picking this one up, because I know that the American version of it's not region free, it's region A locked, so you need a region free player if you're outside of region 1. And then there are other region 2 versions, but they go for extortionate money. And the DVD's massively out of print, all that sort of stuff. I tell you what, for a shorter update, I've still managed to ramble on a hell of a lot, haven't I? The next one is another Blu-ray, but this is a special edition one now. We'll close up with some special edition Blu-rays, and this is William Hurt in Body Heat. So the premise basically sold me on this one. So yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it. It looks like a great premium collection one. Decided to upgrade my DVD. I've been thinking about upgrading this one for the longest time, and then waited until there was the 2 for 14 deal that's going on the premium collections every now and then. So really, I ended up getting this for £7.50 in a really nice, you know, fancy edition, and that is Stanley Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket. I picked this next one up from 101 Films. Well, I got it in HMV actually, but it's a 101 Films release, and I picked it up purely for the premise and the fact that it is Michael Caine, and that is Michael Caine in The Black Windmill. And again, this next one was recommended to me, and forgive me, I can't remember who recommended it, but when we had the Arrow sale on, somebody recommended that I pick up Phantasm. So I've picked up Phantasm. So there we are, folks. That has been my DVD, my Blu-ray, and my one singular 4K update for July 2021. I do hope that you've enjoyed the video. Let me know your comments and your thoughts down below in the comments section. I always love to have conversations with you guys. It really does make my day when you leave me comments and we can have a natter about our shared passion for film and physical media. It's great. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please think about subscribing. I'd love to have you stick around longer. Of course, it helps the channel to grow, and I love to engage with you guys on you know, these videos and future videos that I like to make as well. Above all else, folks, take care of yourselves, and I look forward to seeing you again real soon for the next video, whatever that might be. Look forward to seeing you then. Cheers.